G'day, punters. Welcome back to another huge edition of All In. Joined once again by none other than Lewis Willoughby from Sky Racing. Louis, how are you?
Yeah, very good, Gano. Very good, Dino. Week 2, better for the run last week. Of course, that's the way it often goes. Although they do say there is second up syndrome, so touch wood that doesn't happen. No, good to be here. Didn't get the chocolates with me all in bet last week. It was pretty old slow, that Queensland horse in the feature there. But we'll try again. Big Group 1 coming up this week. First of the ones in New South Wales, so it should be good.
And Dean Watling from the Barrier Attendant. Welcome, mate. Thanks for coming on board. And another successful week from you, steering punters into some all-in bets. Bit unfortunate with Spacewalk, mate, but welcome to the show.
Yes, good afternoon, fellas. It was I think we'll take the weekend. You got to always take profit when you can, but geez, Spacewalk, number 1,101 ways of getting beaten a race. I don't even know what I got spooked by. I probably saw my bet slip and thought, oh no, I better duck out here.
Just quietly, there's been a lot of talk about what happened, and I reckon that the horse was sort of laying in or some garbage. I got a feeling it clipped the heels of the Waterhouse bot thing, and because J-Mac just given it the old what's going on there behind him. I don't think necessarily appears in the Stewards report, but yeah, your fair income, good thing beat there. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get straight into a quick weekend review. Tell you what, I'll lead away here. I've got a horse to follow. I've actually done some reviews, so you must be spring. I'm getting to the form. I know, right? Unbelievable. Raging Bull, fair income. How good was that win against the pattern? I know that was I know it sort of got a clear run and went around him and everyone, and heard the point go, oh, but he's got a great run. Please turn it up. Nothing came from that position. Huge run. First up was 61 kilos. So all things considered, that run was massive. I think it's shortened to $14 or something for the Metro. Please, that's an overreaction. But there is a horse that you can follow. Dean Watling, a horse to follow.
Yeah, I got one, Gannon, same meeting. Quick tempo out of the last. Like you mentioned, it was a very hard day to make ground, and this horse was another who made ground. Best last 6, last 4, last 2. The meeting has done that probably last 2 starts as well. So it's knocking on the door. It's just its pattern that's the issue. We need a run on track for it to win. But I thought that was a good sneaky run on the sectional front. But there's 2 punters. Louis, right of the week.
And Dino, sorry to interrupt, mate. That horse missed the start too. It was slow away. He came out awful. Sorry, yeah. Louis. Sorry to interrupt, but there you go.
No, that's right. I also wanted to get our thoughts on the Hugh Bowman ride on Frumos, the short price fight. Was it Frumos? I think it is. Yeah. Yep. Look, I'll tell you off the bat here. I can understand why a lot of people got angry at it. I get that on face value, if you didn't understand track biases and things like that, it was a $1.90 favourite who saw nothing but backsides and got rolled. Fair enough. And he even said it himself in the Stewards inquiry afterwards, Hugh, that the track was playing so rails hot that from his settling position, which is where the horse was always going to be, he didn't really have much other option than to do that. If he takes that run and the gaps are clear and he wins, he looks like a wizard, but sometimes they won't, and that's what happens. So, yeah, I think I can understand why people are firing up, but I think there's no merit in it.
I don't think the horse wins if it gets the gaps. I don't think it catches Raduna anyway. The way the track was playing, I don't think they catch that horse out in front. I think it probably gets within a length, but I don't think it wins. From an owner's perspective, geez, you'd be a little bit filthy to tell me you had half a run there, to be honest. As an owner, I'm kind of giving it the old, geez, you're going to go around him and have a crack and pick up second prize, but the horse is probably going to make millions. Who really cares?
Do you think he gets second though if he goes wide? I don't know if he does.
I think so.
He's cruising. He's in first. It's in first gear, mate.
The best last 2 of that race on the bridle to the line. I think it's an interesting point. I think what punters were probably more angry at and they didn't know was the fact that there was a rails biased. But like you mentioned, Huey could have went to the outside, run a good second. No one would have said a thing about Huey's ride, but he's probably tried to do the right thing about the punters and find the better ground and just find traffic. What I really like was the interrogation or the stewards questioning if he knew the prices of the horses he was following to the race. So I really like that. Well, I think that's
Louis hates it. You know what? I'm a bit on the fence with this one, boys. We won't spend too much time on it, but I'll tell you what, Louis hates it. We'll hear from Louis in a sec. Dino likes it. I think it's not so much about price. Some jockeys just need to know the ability of the horse in front of them. Look, obviously, price is a reflection of that. It is a reflection of that.
That's more my point. That's to my point. I think Hugh should have known the ability of the horses around him, but in terms of price, hang on, they're so up in, you can't punt as a jockey, right? It's so illegal, and yet he goes, do you know what the price of the things around you were? I would have said, of course I don't know what the price of things. What do you mean?
It's a shock, and it's a pretty poorly worded question. I think the question is, were you aware of the ability of the horses around you? Anyway, we have digressed significantly. There's our wrap on Huey Bowman's Bride. I don't think you call it a slaughter. I think the track was a slaughter, but the rail was out 7. So punters, that's what it is at Rose Hill. It's what happens sometimes. Righto, Louis, over to you.
All right, I'll quickly give my ride of the week. And again, it's gone to Jack Hill on jolting. Wow, what a jockey this man is. Unbelievable. I can't believe he's won it 2 weeks in a row. That is unbelievable. No, well done, Jack Hill. That was actually a great steer today. I will give it to him. That was a cracker coming from last. Just quickly on that Caulfield meeting, I think while it might have been a little bit of a strip out for the punters at some stages, horses like Barbie's Fox winning at 27s, yada, yada, yada. If you're going to go back and review that Caulfield meeting, look at the Vane Stakes. That was an absolute ripper with Giga Kick and Alpha One and Mullane hitting the line as well. I think they're big horses to follow. The Quizette was just a touch below that. I think I'm Loving You is still the one to follow out of that for the Price and Kent Junior Yard. Didn't have the greatest run there. Uncommon James, the Brisbane horse, that's a real talented horse. I was hoping they were going to go to the first Group 1 in Melbourne, that 1400. What is it? I think it's the Memsey. It is the Memsey. They're not. They're going to go to the Sir Rupert Clarke instead after a run at the Valley. I think it gets 1400, no worries. Mr. Brightside was a great return. And, I thought it was a good meeting. So definitely go back and review that Melbourne meeting if you're looking for some good spring runners. But focusing on this Saturday, gentlemen, it is the Winx Stakes 1400-metre Group 1 weight for age. We've got a likely field courtesy of Tab, and we've got the market as well. It's all in. Animo is the 250 favourite. Forbidden Love at $4.50. Malunga's at $6, who won this race last year. Hinged and Profondo at $11. And then Duace, Fangirl, $13. Cascadian Halal, $15. Dino, who do you like in this year's edition of the Winx Stakes?
Yeah, I'll give a little profile, Louis, before I crunch into my sort of tip for this race. The last 5 years, the last 5 winners have all won the race first up. So that's a key for this race. We've got a couple in here who are second up. Forbidden Love's probably the most notable, but I thought that's something you wanted to note. And sort of your 3-year-olds don't have the best record. I don't think there's any in the field to take a look at, but the sort of 5-year-old, 4-year-olds, 6-year-olds have the best sort of record. For mine, I think there's some holes to punch in the market. Cascading's the most interesting runner here. I'm still yet to know if he's going to this race and taking on the stablemate Animo, or if they're going to save him a week later for the Memsies. This horse is flying at the trials. He's just coming back better and better every prep. And I think if he went to this Winx Stakes on the weekend, he'd win. But I'm just going to stay away from the price due to not knowing if he's going to go. My bet in the race early is going to be Fangirl. Probably not one many would find, but her trials back this prep are outstanding. She won first up last prep, and we're yet to see her on a drying track. So I think she's got stacks of ability and a turn of foot. My query is her pattern. I know Gannon will probably be against it for that reason, but we've always seen this Winx Stakes be a high-pressure race. The rail will be out 3 metres and they'll run on. So for mine, I'm going to have something on Fangirl, boys.
I'll tell you what, it's a race where fair income the answer's a pineapple. I just got no idea at the moment. But one thing I can tell you is Animo $2.50. Absolutely not. Forbidden Love, looked at the forecast. There's no rain coming. 10. Malunga, first trial, not bad. Second trial, what's doing there? It's tailed off a mile and through the line. It was, at least if they're coming last through the line, you want to see them, putting in. It was just, didn't want a bar of it. Hinged, just don't think off that prep it's going to line up here and win. Profondo, got better targets. Duace, got a Melbourne Cup, aren't they? All of a sudden, we're only left with 2 horses here. Cascadian, not sure if it's going there, so that's a query. Halal, you still following that horse, Dino?
Yeah, mate, you'll be a Group 1 star one day, don't you worry. Like my boy Ramar.
Maybe they've got a Group 1 in Tassie or Darwin or something. And mate, we're kind of really struggling now. We've got Nimali, and then I've lobbed on yours, Dino, and only really because you've steered us into it. You sent us a text and said, check out Fangirl. Trials are good. Gets him with 56.5 kilos. First start record, not bad. But what for mine, if we get a drying surface, which I think we're going to get to a good track, with a horse here that, at the price that I want to be with. So I'm with you, Dino. Fangirl at the $13 and $3.40 the place for me.
Yeah, Waller's won it 5 out of the past 7 too. I forgot to mention off the top of the show. Obviously, Winx helped that with 2, but yeah, there's a couple others there. Louis,
what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, so only been a Group 1 since 2019 as well. But after the big spray that you've given Mo'unga, it's my turn to tell you that I think it's the winner. I am in your boat a little bit where I'm not that enthused to play in the race at this stage. $6 about it is not crazy. I'm a huge Cascadian fan.
Yeah.
And I think at $15 off its trials and the fact that it's a proven Group 1 performer, I would be enticed to have a bet on it. But
do you reckon, Louis, it'd be $15 anyway, though? Like, if it lines up and we get a jockey, it'll be 15, or you reckon it'll be 8s or something?
I think it would be shorter than 15, not by a huge stretch, but I think it would be.
It'd have to be third horse in the market or fourth horse at least. I think if you say Animo is going to drift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my problem with Cascadian is the racing pattern. Like, I love the horse and I've backed it to win Group 1s before, but it is a hard racing pattern to be really confident on. Right. Mo'unga won this race last year. When it came into this race last year, first up, it had only had the 1 trial. This time it's had 2. I think I understand your point about the last trial wasn't great. Finished last, beaten 7.5. I'm not concerned about that, really. I think it was just a quiet trial. If you go back and look at the trial, the 1 trial it had leading into this race last year was very, very similar, almost exact to the first up trial it had this preparation. All reports are that the horse is going extremely well. And I think with form in this race, the first up record is outstanding. 5 starts, 3 wins, a second and a third. It's a proven first up performer, proven Group 1 horse. I think, again, no price, no spoil on the price is what I'm trying to say. It's $6. But in that market, with Animo too short, Forbidden Love, no rain, it's the one I want to bet. Can I ask what you all think of Profondo this time around? Is that horse gone, or is it going to come back?
I think it's coming back good. I think the trials have been good. They've done a little bit of work with it. I think they sent it back to the breakers between last prep and this prep to learn it to settle. It's done that in the trials, and I think it's not a horse you'd back. You sort of got to back it on trust, but I think it...
Louis, let me ask you this, mate. You've been slaving away all day, shoveling dirt, throwing it over, working the landscape, just grinding away, earning your bucks. Not the stuff that you do over at Sky, the hard work. And you've made your $750 for the week, and you sit down, you got your $100, and you go, I'm going to have a punt this week. You're thinking, can you have it on Profondo, please?
No.
You just can't, but you couldn't part with your hard earned. You just couldn't. No. Anyway, as a quick wrap, what do we got, Dean Watling, for the Winx Stakes?
Fangirl for me, Gannon.
Fangirl for me as well. And Louis?
Yeah, I'll stick with Mo'unga.
Any other all-in tips there for us, gents, or are we just wrapping up with the all-in stakes? The Winx all-in stakes. How about that, boys?
I've got one, Gunno.
Yeah.
Left field, down in Louis' territory, Mexico, down south, Mooney Valley this weekend. The Caroline, is it? Or the Caroline Stakes, 1,000 meters?
Caroline, yep.
Yeah, Yulong Command. It has trialled like a dead set Group 1 star. I think it's got a 4 from 5 record at the Valley. 1,000 meters, it's go.
$21.
Yes, $21.
Wow.
I like this a lot. I think it's going to jump, run, find the front, and be mighty hard to beat like we saw the last time at the Valley. You couldn't make anything ground from the back. So that's...
punters, I've got one for you. Silver Shadow Stakes. There is a huge boom on this horse in secret at $3.50. For mine, good horse, going places. I think you could do worse than having a bet on that as well. Louis, anything for the punters?
All I'll say is that I agree with you on command, but extremely lucky for Will Clarkin and Jamie Carr is going to be very, very, very hard to beat in that race. That's all I'm going to say.
That last swooper, Louis?
It's not going to set. It was 10 weeks between runs and missed the kick. It's not going to settle last. I promise you.
Love it, boys. All right, let's move on to Wednesday best bets. The punters love being steered into a winner from young Louis Willoughby. A $6 winner last week, mate. Good work. Dino and I found one better. I think it was probably more of a Dylan Gibbons special up the inside to carve us up. But we'll go, Louis. You come to the batting here, mate. You're on fire. What do you got?
I struggled this week. I thought I I couldn't come around to much on the program. We were just saying before we came on and recorded that we all send our bets in for Wednesday prior to starting recording, and I didn't read the messages that clearly, and I've gone to have a look, and I've seen this Godolphin horse running in Sydney. I've gone, oh, wow, I've got this thing in the black book from last prep. Look at that trial. That trial's really good. All right, I'm going to put in. I just better quickly make sure that no one else has tipped this first. And lo and behold, it's been written about 1,000 times in the group chat text messages. So I'm off that. I'm going to tip Zipping Boy, race 8 at Cranbourne. Gannon, you know this horse well. Gets a 3 kilo claim, I think, for Matt Chadwick, who's a pretty good young apprentice rider. It was very good first up at Caulfield behind Darylina Bell. Probably should have won. I won't say anything further.
Should.
As you can see, the look on his face. And gave that winner 6 kilos as well. That's always that. Now, I thought it was all right second up, and then last up finished behind Chain of Lightning, which is a really strong race. Fourth up, this is easier, fitter, tick, tick, tick. On a pretty low Wednesday, I thought. That was what I'll go with.
I think you're on a winner there. I think you're on a winner. Dino, what do you got for the punters, mate?
Race 1, Canterbury, horse we backed a couple of weeks back. Sports legend, missed the kick by several lengths, sustained a huge run, and had some good sectionals home when really didn't have a chance. It goes around in race 1 at Canterbury. The favourite in that race is interesting, boys. I'll touch on it quickly. It is out of Global Glamour, 3-year-old colt making its debut off 2 trial wins. The trials have been okay at best. Barrier 11, the widest, on a heavy 9 on debut. I don't know how it's still 60. It's nom for Hawkesbury Thursday. So punters, wait till Wednesday and back Sports Legend. It will be winning. Gunno, what do you got?
Geez, you got to worry when they're nom for Hawkesbury as well. Anyway, we will go to Canterbury race 2, number 7, Sumatra, $3.60. J-Mac. Louis said it all. Horse is flying. Was in the black books. Has some great ratings from last up. It runs up to those. It'll be winning. Not only that, it looks like it's come back a better horse. So race 2, number 7, Sumatra. Boys, thank you for your time. Short but sweet this week. We'll be back with another huge edition next week. Dino, Louis, thank you very much.
Cheers, boys.